That's all I wanted to do! That's all I wanted to do! Why I couldn't have done that?
You've been transformed by the magic of the MagCast.
So, welcome to MagCon. This is interesting. Everyone's here in the same room.
Yes.
Yay!
So, you know, if someone says something mean to another person, we can reach over and slap them.
Yeah, or throw bottles at them.
Dr. Pepper, Dr.
Squizzy.
Dr. Squiz bottles.
I'm not familiar with Dr. Squiz. I just threw the bottle because it was here.
Well, how did I
am in no way affiliated with anything called Dr. Squiz.
Dr. Squiz.
I guess you missed out on that part.
Yeah. Alright, so we got a lot of the people from normal MagCast here. With the exception of two newer people, at least in the room. I don't know if they'll be speaking, but
you know I'm gonna speak.
Yeah, we got Alan over here. So they're throwing Dr. Fizz or Squiz bottles at people.
Squiz.
Would you stop saying that? It's making me feel
It's such an unfortunate choice.
Carbonated squid ink, I think it was.
Yeah.
Squid ink.
Yeah, it's from the RPGMMAG Gaming Blade.
And we also have the lovely and charming Brooke.
Hi.
Hi. That's all
And
she
the
has to
eloquent.
say.
Well, we're sitting here talking about squiz and jizz, and she's just like, hey!
Why you just said jizz in a podcast? Oh my god, the FCC is so going to shut us down.
You should hear some of the stuff we talked about.
We already
before
just
we
rated it
record.
explicit.
Yeah.
They can't catch us.
Yeah, you should have heard, what was it?
How we had to short cast and...
Oh, Sharkcast was not recorded.
That was like
I'm
the
talking about
MagCast, guys.
Yeah.
It never happened.
Yeah, of course not.
That never happened.
The first rule of Sharkcast.
It didn't happen.
Don't talk about Sharkcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
I wish you had that rule
no
about
idea what you are
Squiz.
talking about.
Squiz.
Squizzle.
I can't help it. I'll be saying that when I go home too. Squiz.
Oh, man. So what's everyone been doing today, even though I know most of it?
Golly. Well, let's see. We got up this morning. A good bit of us made bacon waffles, which were awesome, and I plan to do that tomorrow.
I concur.
Let's see. Then we played a bit of Magic the Gathering.
Yes. Which I won. I whooped ass.
Yes, Alan. You did. Congratulations. Glad to see you take your victories with humility.
Quite a bit, you know. You have to be an awesome winner when you win.
There is so few people as humble as thou. Let's see. After that, we came up here, just kind of messed around, went and grabbed some lunch at a hibachi grill.
I had
which,
mango and sushi together. I can't believe it was good.
It was good.
Dude, sushi is like saying sandwich. You can have sushi anything, man. It doesn't have to be raw fish. It could be
Squiz sushi.
Squish sushi. Why would you?
It makes sense.
I think you just officially ruined sushi for me all the time.
Squid, man. Carbonated. All up on your unagi.
You get some of that squiz sauce.
Oh man, yeah, they asked you if you wanted some.
I cannot believe this. You can't see me, but I'm blushing right now.
On a more pleasant note, the hibachi performer was awesome.
He was pretty great.
That's the sort of job where you can't go in like, I need to pay rent, and maybe I'll do this. No, if you're a hibachi cook, you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost expected him to go, leave with a top hat, and it came like la da 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 da.
I believe Brooke was the only one who caught the rice in her mouth.
Dude, me and Jeremy caught
No,
it.
I caught
it. Yeah.
We were like 4 out of 9 with our group.
Pretty good.
The hibachi cook actually went and tried to have all of us catch bits of rice in our mouths.
Yo, he was a good shot too.
Yeah.
We missed it. It was our fault.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was all our fault.
It bounced right off your tongue.
I'm awesome. Nothing bad could ever possibly be my fault.
Again, that humility.
Yeah.
Probably the funniest part was whenever he lit up that giant flame and where I couldn't see him, he was behind the flame and he tossed a character and it's like, oh my goodness, he hit me.
Yeah, I was like, is that going to be on fire?
The funny thing about that, I actually recorded the at least the beginning part where he's like doing the flippy stuff and then he lights the thing on fire, and I got that on camera, so we might upload that on the Mag channel.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Still.
That was pretty cool.
I got Dre. It's so funny because the way cameras work, if there's a really big flash of light, like everything after the light goes away is black for a while and then kind of fades back in.
No, that's just Alan in front of the screen.
But anyways,
That's another bit of that urban humor.
It started fading back in, and it faded in with Drake going, "Oh gosh, oh no, fire now!"
I would have been scared too.
Oh, and I don't know if y'all noticed this happened to Alan, but whenever he was asking everybody if you want sauce, he was like, "Hot sauce? You want hot sauce?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he had one of the joke bottles that when he squeezed it, this fake little rod of sauce, came out and stopped. And oh gosh,
He was a performer.
Really?
Well, he did a fake out with one of the help me out spatulas. He was just like, "Whew." I was like, "Oh god, don't want to get hit."
And we did Survival 3 today.
Yes!
Yeah.
So
It was a very interesting game.
If you haven't seen the footage, like if you're just watching the MagCast because you like watching the MagCast and you didn't watch any of the MagCon footage, then this would actually be a really good topic because Ren, or Imrevel, over at the Mag, has given us Survival 3 demo, and the game was a little incomplete, but it's a demo. But there's no objectives, no bosses, no storyline, no direction.
It was more about exploring and seeing what you can do in the game when you finally play the completed.
And there was a bunch of stuff, random encounters that with enemies that you can see on screen, which seems to be the acceptable way random encounters to be done in RPGs today, making random blind encounters kind of a thing of the past. There was a lot of interaction with, everything. You could check everything. And I think, based on the medals that you get, the things that you search, you could possibly get more or better stuff if you upgrade your searching ability. So there could be you go and check something, you get a few medals and you upgrade your scavenger or whatever it is. You could possibly come back to a thing you've already checked and get more stuff.
Which is actually a revolutionary concept.
Yeah, I mean that's cool.
That's for those who just like to play the survivor, the guy who plays it safe in survival horror games, rather than the guy who goes out and picks fights with zombies like me.
Yeah, you did after you freaking cheated about, triple or quadruple your normal strength.
Punching zombies in the face with a crowbar.
Gordon Freeman style.
But yeah, it was a great game. I love the use of the ambient noise. I think that was one of the strongest points.
I want that.
Lantis and I lament not being able to do that in our game on RPG Maker 1 so much.
It sucks so bad because there's so many times you're like, just the sound of wind.
I got
right
nervous
so
from when it was turning to night, with all the crickets getting louder.
It's like snowfall, so you hear a bunch of wind.
You didn't use RPG
as it
Maker
cycles
1,
to night.
RPG Maker, what platform did you use?
Actually, it was RPG Maker XP Ace Light.
Yeah. This is, guys, is the light version, the free version of the game, which it has some severe limitations, like you can only have so many maps.
Alan, are you trying to molest me?
Are you serious?
Excuse me?
What?
I just felt this seductive touch on my foot.
Yeah, that's how you molest people
that is
on their feet.
For me to leave their total state of citizenry.
It doesn't count if you touch elbows.
And this has been RPG Maker Minute.
Don't molest anybody.
Well, honestly, we don't have this is a release.
I think we should just go all in one because we have a lot.
RPG Maker magazine convention. So
okay,
yeah.
Look, Insultabot, you said you saw my mom today and she was asleep on Route 12. First of all, you've never seen my mom, so you can STFU, came things by.
Yeah, we're streaming.
I saw Insultabot's wife doing push-ups in the parking lot of KFC. And that's an urban moment for today.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we got a little bit of stuff in yesterday. Being the drive and all, we were all kind of worn out. So
we also did Grown Men Furry Sleepover.
yeah,
That is such a funny skit.
Return of Squirrelantis.
yeah.
If you're
I always wanted to be a squirrel, and now I got to be.
But you didn't
one.
get the footies. We'll have to make a pool next year.
Right? Yeah. Oh
To
gosh.
evolve you.
I don't want to see where this is going to go next year.
I don't think it can be
I was
topped.
about to say we don't need to do no Grown Man Furry Sleepover 3.
I think it's done.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, 3
I disagree.
always ruins it.
You would.
I disagree.
But anybody who wanted to chip in for a fursuit for him,
Oh,
make a
gosh.
donation.
You know what?
Available.
As expensive as those things are, I don't think I'm going to have to worry about someone actually coming up here with one of those.
Hey, if Ancestro returned this year, so can Grown Man Furry Sleepover.
Yes.
No,
Part
And
2.
that is something we've neglected so far.
Oh, yeah.
And
We also
we have
spent...
not talked about the MagCon themed supervillain Ancestro.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Ancestral. Because you know
'Cause
what?
nobody knows.
We never talked about this guy
There's
last
kind of a
time.
reason why.
Well, we were planning on it. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be like an
Yeah.
after MagCon thing, but we never got around to it.
Uh,
This is sort of the idea that we had was gathering around on a mic or something and just...
Oh yeah, talking about it.
So, we
Okay.
can do that.
Let's give you a little backstory on Ancestro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alan, you
Alan knows it best, doesn't
Yeah.
I don't know about knowing it best, but I do know some of the more salient
It's
points.
like, are you afraid of the dark? Gosh, somebody-
Wait. Somebody have magic power to throw on a campfire or something?
Yeah.
The tale of Ancestral.
I don't want to be involved with any kind of fairy dust. That kind of stuff. I don't think I can pass
It'll
the
mess
test
you
after
up.
that. But anyway, Ancestro, it started as a gag that we all participated in while we were playing games to test them for MagCon last year. Well, I can't remember who came up with the name, but we talked about a guy who with time traveling powers, and somebody out of the blue just said, well, what if he went back in time and, fathered himself? And I said, does that mean he actually, macked with his mom? Convinced her to sleep with him and created his own self?
And I think it was someone, I can't remember who it was, someone like, that sounds like a wonderful origin story for like a supervillain.
Yeah.
So that
thus,
his ultimate
Ancestral
plot
was
is to trick brothers and sisters into sleeping together, so everybody will be really dumb in the future generation, and it's easier for him to take over the world that way.
Yeah, and since he can openly time travel, he can go back and convince him to do it. So when he comes back to the present, everybody's, really dumb and inbred.
Unfortunately,
But
he's
how
very dumb
dangerous,
and
like,
inbred. And his glasses are extremely thick because, unfortunately, due to his mutagenic origin,
And those
he
6,
has permanently crossed eyes,
not to mention 6 toes and
6 fingers, and on Tuesdays, for some reason, he just spins in circles outside his house. These are the torments of a man who fathers himself.
Oh,
When is
God,
somebody
I
going to make
didn't
an
even
RPG
know
Maker
that.
game where he
I think that is because
so inappropriate, though. I mean,
and the protagonists can be those 4 on the on the MagCon.
yes, the MagCon mascots can be.
Just gotta
Their
say,
new villain is Ancestral.
It doesn't matter if it's inappropriate. We have a game on RPG Maker magazine called Michael's Homosexual Adventure.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
old.
In fact, there's
It's
3
there.
of them.
What do you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I
didn't
haven't played
play
them.
him.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, see, this is why it's something about saying maybe we should reconsider MagCon West. I can't say I blame.
See, I thought
anyone.
Ancestral was a reference to something, but you all came up with this
Yeah,
yourself.
this is all freaking.
That's
This is
amazing.
our IP.
I think it's a reference to Michael J. Fox.
This is our intellectual property. I'm
He said
telling
he should be played by Michael J. Fox.
It's a reference to him, Back to the Future, met his mom, Calvin.
Yeah, because see, he didn't actually, do the nasty.
No, Ancestral.
That's because only because Ancestral made better use of his time.
Look. It's alternate 1955. So the timeline flip like Biff jumps in the time machine, go that way, and Ancestral goes in the other way.
Just Michael J. Fox is slightly.
You need to like have a sidekick, like Oedipus Boy.
And he's blonde.
No, he can only do that if he has like Oedipus Boy has to have like a double row of teeth.
And it's played by Heidi Christensen.
The real question is, who plays Ancestral in the movie? I go for Billy Bob Thornton.
No.
I would tell you, nobody looked more retarded than him.
No, he can only be played by Tommy Wiseau.
Wiseau?
Yeah! Undead David Carradine.
He's gotta be...
Steve Buscemi.
And his love interest in Mother is the woman who played the star role in Robo Geisha. I don't know. But she's the mom.
I would play a good Ancestro, ha.
Yeah, actually, we actually spell his name O, like Ancestro, the same way Tommy Wiseau spells his last name.
Absolutely, why not? French
Because
people
that's
are weird. So this makes a lot of sense.
EAU.
Nah, facts. It can't be Denzel Washington because he's just too good. He's
do
the
that.
best actor ever.
Yeah, and besides that, he's too busy rolling with Krispy Kreme.
Froggy Fresh.
Froggy Fresh.
Froggy
Who the hell is Froggy Fresh?
And Moneymaker Mike.
Yeah.
The guy that just never talks.
The question is, we have to now come up with a villain for Ancestral.
Villain?
No.
Ancestral is an okay, I'm sorry. How about a
Maybe
protagonist to
anti-hero.
face Ancestral?
Who's the hero to face Ancestral?
Sarah Snipe.
I was about to say not it.
I'll bravely faced off against his incestuous powers. I didn't know how else to say it.
Yeah, and I could see like him doing like a Psycho Mantis section like he did like in Metal Gear Solid. He'd be like, "Did you know you're actually your own father? You just haven't gone back and done it yet." And he'd be like, "Is it true? No, it can't be."
If you're going to use the Metal Gear Solid reference, you have to talk about the part where, what's this guy, Ocelot, is talking to his arm. That's got to be an Ancestral moment. Except for Ancestral talks to his shoulder because he can only see his shoulder because he's cross-eyed.
He's talking to his sixth
I'm so
finger.
tired of you foiling my plans. Lousy shoulder.
You know, this is quickly turning out to be the greatest MagCast.
I'm talking the
I'm
entire
so
time
proud.
about freaking this year-old concept.
So the thing on his shoulder, is that like the anti-incest figure or not?
There's a little cross there. Don't do it, man.
I don't know what's on there, but I don't want it on me.
You have a devil on one shoulder and a slightly cross-eyed angel on the other.
Yo, and the angel tries to give the right advice, but just fucks it up every time.
You know, Ancestral, you shouldn't sleep with your mother without protection.
Well, if you use protection, I mean, that's something.
Almost the right advice.
Almost.
It's so crazy that the devil on his other shoulder says, "Yeah, bro, you don't know where she's been."
Oh, Biffos.
God, bro, what did you guys do before me? And Ancestral.
We just talked about sharks.
Well, we got an entire channel dedicated to it.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/RPGMMAG.
Yeah, we still have like MagCast. Other things to talk
We
about.
should actually talk about
Yeah,
things that are
I
important
guess.
to Magonians everywhere.
And
I don't know. We just started talking about it. I was going with it.
Yeah, I was just rolling with it. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
I got to learn the
MagCon.
story.
This is MagCon, you know?
Yeah, you have to learn about it. We're bringing it home. So now everyone knows. We should have had this last year.
Right.
Everyone needs to know the truth.
Right. So, is everybody having a good time so
I'm
far?
having a great time.
Yeah,
But that might have something to do with not having to go to work.
Yeah.
I know a little bit.
Yeah.
Foosball!
I dropped donuts, of course.
And they were awesome
They were
donuts.
delicious.
still
Oh,
are.
man, great donuts.
Yeah.
I'm
I
so glad
came to
it's
realize
enough.
that the girls in Chattanooga are quite possibly the most beautiful assortment in any city in
Oh yeah,
America.
you should have seen K-Jack, man. He was tripping balls at the freaking hibachi grill.
You were not at Chili's last night. You can't comment.
All right, it was all right. This
There
is
were the dumbest
Oh, those were the
there.
ancestral type chicks at Chili's last night.
this is
No,
really
I
funny.
just
All
wanted
right.
to go and shake them off for every time someone's looked at me and thought I was stupid because I was a woman. I'm like, you are the reason!
They're the reason.
So we're sitting there ordering food, right? And me and Jeremy, our K-Jack, are like obviously like like, hey, look at the waitress, and she's a pretty little thing, ain't she? And obviously SK can see us, kind of doing this, and he doesn't like us doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Doing what? They can't tell what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Staring lewdly, that's what you're doing.
all right. Well, I was about to get to that, but we were, just kind of making like checking out things, right? So Ixion starts ordering some food, and he's like pointing at the picture, so the chick can't see it, so she like bends over to look at it, and so I've got this perfect view. All right, right in front of me is this woman, kind of bent over. She's decently dressed, so there's nothing to see there other than clothes. But right behind her is SK looking at me with this death stare, like, stop it. So
I just have one question to ask. Will your wife be listening to this?
I'm going to tell her.
Yeah, I don't
It's
care. I'll
okay.
tell her. I'm not scared.
I'll tell her.
That's what he says in front of us.
I'll tell her.
Just
I'll
like
tell her too.
Ancestro is normal.
So
If Lantis' wife, if you happen to listen to this for whatever reason, next chance you get, you should totally lean over the counter with your rear end facing Lantis and see how he reacts to that.
And then hit him with it and troll him.
Also,
And then I'll suddenly be there giving Lantis the death stare, just out of nowhere.
It's funny because once
He
I
looks
found
like the crazy monkey inside Chris's closet.
So, once I found out that this was bugging SK, I kind of like made it more apparent of what I was doing.
I was wondering.
So
you
I
were
was
crazy.
I was tilting my head and looking at got the getting the full on view in, and you could just see him like, stop it, stop, don't you stop it.
She was much too pretty to be demeaned by your
Well,
lewd stares.
I would argue that
I do believe the word is called ogling.
I don't care. She just brought me good food.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
so, and also a wild bonanza appears.
Yes, Wild Bonanza appears. Hey, what's up, guys?
Dun, dun, dun.
SK, I'm not on your side. You told everybody on the
Ancestro,
MagCast
go!
on your foot.
Yeah.
On my side about what?
Nothing.
That's okay. Protector of Angels always stands alone.
Yeah, actually, he kind of does.
Alright, so what are we discussing now?
You missed the whole ancestral and
Yeah, you missed the
Ancestro.
entire Ancestro thing.
Oh, it's okay. Ancestra's great. Awesome. I remember.
I think somebody has been afflicted with his powers.
I remember incorporating him into a prayer last year at a restaurant.
Oh,
Charlie's.
that,
At Old Charlie's.
Guys,
And I
pull out your
incorporated
weapons.
the creation of Ancestral in the prayer. You're all like, what? What kind of prayer is that?
Exactly. I'm not agreeing with any prayers. Any of your views do not necessarily reflect the views of Alan Bell.
Does anybody know any exorcism magic that we can perform on Bond?
Shin Zalabin?
We must
Quick,
reverse
let's
the curse.
summon Levitra.
Krepalu, Elusara, Jibamati.
That's your
Papa.
favorite. Don't forget it.
Oh, I got one. De Due Dembala. I don't know. I got that from Chucky.
Oh,
Give me the
Freud
power.
Lade.
You got that from Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good. It's a good fight.
Okay, so I think we lost our way.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
completely
Weren't we
lost.
There was
on
MagCon
RPGMMAG
that we
Community?
discussed.
So, like, do we actually have any topics that we need to touch on? Or
Yes.
is this just, like, wide open?
I don't
Well,
know.
it's kind of wide open, but
Yeah,
we
it's
do have
super
something.
open.
Alright, well, what you got?
Insultabot gave us this whole thing about Apple and Amazon are looking to sell used digital content.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
do Apple and Amazon really want to be in the same podcast as Ancestro?
Yes.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Absolutely.
They have an anti-ancestral app. Both of them do, actually. One's on Android and one's on iOS, so you're covered.
See,
Yeah,
it's
but they're on
already
each
become part of
other's
the
service.
consciousness.
So Amazon has the iOS and iOS
Yeah.
has the Amazon one.
Oh, Ancestro.
Mm.
The demon powers.
But yeah, you know that's about the only way that GameStop will be able to survive in modern days.
I'm about to form the pro-ancestral defamation league because I don't really appreciate the way that everybody's talking so bad about this guy. He's just a guy who slept with his mom and created himself. He's just trying to live his life now.
He's just a dog trying to get his mom's. Oh wait, that doesn't make sense.
You know,
His mom's food bowl.
he's like Oedipus Rex, but mutated.
Oedipus Rex.
But he's
Yes.
mutation.
That was far too literary for me.
So, about Apple and Amazon.
Yeah.
No,
Bring it back.
we're not going to be able to get away from Ancestro now.
There is no escape.
That's a thing.
There's no
It's like
only
Reynolds.
one way out.
Oh,
Okay,
and
so-
Ash, you were telling us about how Left 4 Dead and Resident Evil 6 have a collaboration.
Yeah, and it sucks. I finally got the
Yeah.
link. We'll talk about that next, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, so this whole thing about buying and selling used digital content.
How would that work?
Alright, so basically the actual software is not something you own, right? The way ownership is tracked is through a licensing system or a serial system, right? And let's say you want to sell, the game back. What you're actually selling is the license or the activation for that game. You give that away. That it's digital. But, digital software does have monetary value. And it goes, so far as, Blizzard games, you can sell money for gold or vice versa, or equipment, it has real dollar value. And so do these games. You sell those back to whatever, and it goes into, a big pool of, open licenses of what were previously owned by somebody else, and they sell those at a discounted price. So, I don't see... The whole thing is, that I don't quite understand, is why would you ever buy new? Because it's digital. It doesn't age. It doesn't wear down.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Right?
What I'm confused about is that you're talking about the license like it's a physical, like an actual item that you're purchasing something. Whereas if I'm correct, the license is actually a contract. It's a contractual agreement.
Yeah.
And I think that in the agreement they could put it's non-transferable, which would throw a whole other bone into it.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend like I actually understand exactly what's going on
That's
here.
the lawyer on the podcast.
And I like that she came with a different point of view.
Yeah.
So I have a question to ask.
She always talks about this stuff. Pretty interesting
Right.
stuff.
I have a question to ask. In regards to piracy, if I own the license to this, what's to stop me if I have the proper technology or so on and so
Well,
forth,
apparently...
from
Probably
copying it and
some-
then selling it back to you and keeping possession?
Probably some
Yeah,
DRM.
Yeah.
I bet
Yeah.
there's going to be DRM.
What they do is it's probably going to be more like everything's going to be hosted on their server, so you're just buying access to their server.
Yeah.
Then you can buy and sell things. That's the thing. You're not going to own it. You're going to buy a license. And
That's it.
that is BS. Because if I buy anything, I own it.
And they could take it
Forever.
off the market
I'm
at
not buying
any
a
time.
license for anything.
And the whole problem with playing it where it's all loaded online is you wind up with a situation like...
Sim shitty.
Oh, yeah.
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 We need
I'm
to
gonna
talk
bite
about
my
that
tongue.
too.
Oh yeah, we totally forgot about that. 'Cause,
Just
we
flow
were
that
prepared.
right in.
Oh yeah. So anyway,
Same crap.
SimCity is always online. DRM. Look what's happened. Nobody can play the game.
So,
Yeah. It's not even online DRM. The whole
server
game
crash
is
or something like
online.
that?
Yeah.
The server's online now. What did you say?
I said, did the server crash or something like
Yeah,
that?
it crashed last week.
It
Well,
keeps
maybe
doing
what they
it.
need to do is
No, I can get online,
get a
play the
server
game.
like Blizzard.
It's a single player game.
yeah.
And I've never heard of it, Blizzard having any issues with their
No, they have
So, did
Diablo
anybody...
3.
There was
They
a...
fixed it though.
There was
Unlike EA.
a comic that Insultabot posted a few days ago, right? I don't know if any of y'all saw it, but it was EA if they were a pizza joint, right? And this chick calls up and was like, "Hey, I'd like a pizza," and they're like, "All right, we'll send it to you in 30 minutes." And it's like 4 days later, "Hey, where's my pizza? Is it still coming?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. Just check our Twitter feed. It'll all be there." It's like, but I'm not hungry anymore. I would like a refund. It's like, you've already paid for the product. You can't. It's like, but I'm not even hungry anymore. It's like, that's it. You're banned from ever ordering pizza here ever again.
I mean, this kind of harkens back to the EA Games issue with the sports a few years ago where they wanted
Yep.
to stop reuse things. And so, What happens if they decide after 6 months, this SimCity thing not working out, wasted money, costs too much, goodbye server?
They did that already. They cut features.
They just throw the switch.
I have a question. Is this a pay-to-play game? Do you have to pay to play?
You just
you gotta pay $60 to buy the disc.
Yeah, it's a AAA title.
Well,
It's
60 freaking bucks.
it's freaking garbage.
So you're talking about, so EA has a tight grip on the licensing of their games.
Yeah.
And they can charge whatever they want.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when their sales decrease? Are they going to reconsider their pricing or what?
No.
No, of course not.
It's
It's about
They're going to blame piracy.
It's also about saying that. So when you bought the disc, you bought a subscription for a service with a one-time payment, not a game, and that's how they do it.
Well, that's why consumers should just not
And
do it.
if I buy the game today and they cut the server tomorrow, I've got
You don't have a game.
You got 1 day.
You get nothing.
And that's
Good day, sir.
Yeah.
And I have a question to ask too. Is this a game that can be played offline?
No.
No.
Oh no, then they have a responsibility to provide the service.
Exactly.
But I guarantee there will be a clause in the contract that says you have to litigate in California, number 1, and number 2, no guarantee of service. That will be in the contract.
Yeah, and
Yes.
litigate means
Well, then-
sue.
Well, then you got to focus on the consumer as well. The consumer will blindly buy this product,
Absolutely.
knowing damn well that it's shit.
They don't care. They want it just because.
They bought Dragon Age 2.
I'm so glad.
And even if it's in small print, if they post it, they don't have to. They're not required to provide service.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing you can
Right,
do.
but then you have to wise up. Then
You're never gonna
I'm so glad that EA's getting crucified over Sim.
No, they're not.
They are.
On gaming sites they are.
Oh, yeah,
but that doesn't
official-
accomplish nothing.
Official sites
Yeah,
are reviewing
you
it
mean
with like
like-
1
You
star.
still got
Like
sheeple
Neil
that are
Gaiman?
gonna buy it left and right anyway.
Well, on Amazon they got all 1 stars.
They took
Not-
it off Amazon temporarily, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did. They did that too.
Yeah, we're out.
They had like 800 1-star ratings.
Good.
It's probably like the lowest rated thing on Amazon.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's something incredibly wrong when you have this single-player game, and you can walk up to the back of your computer, rip out the internet cord, and all of a sudden your game stops.
And not only that, they refuse to give people refunds when they couldn't provide the service that they said.
Oh,
they
yeah.
had.
But
Okay, but then they should file
as
class
Faye
action.
said, if they say in the contract, the service agreement, that they're not required to provide the service, and you still purchase it, aren't you really at buyer's risk?
Yeah, but the thing is, they an EA rep said that they would give refunds if they weren't satisfied with the game.
Oh, yeah, and there was a freaking
But then they say
someone prints.
semantics that, the game is the disc and
Yeah.
not the service.
Someone print screened their conversation with the EA representative, trying to actually make a
Bot
claim.
says that was only for the physical copies. They would accept returns, not digital.
Well, then why don't the consumers file a class action lawsuit against
It doesn't matter if it's
Because
physical
the
or digital. It was still a
they would
product
not
they
win.
purchased for
Yeah,
and
they
did not
wouldn't
get
win.
what they paid for. It doesn't matter if it's physical or not.
It would be too much money spent, and then it wouldn't even be worth it.
Yeah, EA can afford
Oh,
much better.
oh, EA
In the end, it wouldn't even matter.
But the problem is, number 1, you're going
I
to
get
have to decide what are you actually paying for when you give them $60 for digital content. That's going to be the first question.
Yeah, they'll fight that
Why did
angle.
you? That would be the first thing, and then did you get it or not?
Yeah,
well,
no,
you know what?
they
I would
can
be
do
like,
it.
I concede to you in the court of laws
Oh,
if
no.
we get it printed in
Yeah.
paper that you are in fact a douchebag. I want it in writing
Yeah.
that you admit to being a douchebag.
But the thing about it is, like, we're looking at EA like EA is something unique. When this kind of thing goes on in all kinds of business dealings.
Yeah.
For example, when I was going to take a bus to Virginia before we made the trip here to Tennessee, and I went into the bus station, and it was a smaller local station, not one of the bigger lines like Greyhound or Peter Pan. It was called Eastern Bus Lines, and they have a sign there in the window because apparently they've had problems with bus maintenance or people getting left at the station or whatever.
Or drug interdiction.
all kinds of horror stories that people put up online about these bus companies. But they have a sign in the window. There are no refunds. So once you pass your money to them, there's no requirement.
Yeah,
they
same
take
with-
Same with Greyhound.
because they do not have to give you their money back.
Although that said, I think that they might have to because a lot of times they'll post something that won't hold up in a court of law, and I think in
Yeah,
that
just to
case,
scare the
like
consumer.
you know how you get if you check an item, they're if you check an item, not responsible for lost or stolen items. Usually
They
won't
are.
hold up.
Yeah.
If you say I'm going to
That's so
check your
shiesty.
suitcase and watch it for you, and then I come back and you've lost it, you're probably going to be liable. But again, you have to fight them for it. And I mean, it may come out that if you litigate like crazy, the courts will fight against EA, but who's going to have the interest in doing that?
Also, too, and the money and the resources.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
It should
EA
be
has
Bill
billions.
I'll be in line
And
with
yet
Bill
people
Gates.
are
I'll sneak in.
still
I'll
just
say,
gonna
hey, Bill Gates,
throw
I'm
money
gonna
at
go to
EA,
your
'cause
son
why
in front
not?
of your
Yeah.
other relatives, and let me you get some money.
Yeah,
Pay your bills.
I want to see the line that produced you from Bill Gates to Lloyd's.
I think it's a good point that you
Bill
made too,
Gates had
Faye,
Jungle
about a
Fever.
few years ago with
Maybe.
EA Sports and the sports licensing.
Yeah.
They made it so it was if you're a gamer and you're a sports gamer, you remember that there used to be 2 football games. There used to be Madden,
And
which was
NFL
created
2K.
in NFL 2K. But as of recently, and not just NFL 2K, NFL Fever, different other versions of games that are made by the NFL, but they got the licensing rights.
Yeah.
But EA purchased all possible licensing rights. And then they put out Madden, and Madden is trash. They just killed all possible competition, and by therefore doing so, destroyed their market for the
Here's the thing: it's going to be successful anyway because it's Madden.
But I understand, but isn't it because it's Madden a reason to make the best quality product ever? Because
no.
it's Madden. But no, because you don't have competition, you don't have to work as hard.
I know, but all you
It's-
gotta do-
that's called a monopoly.
Yeah.
Okay, Uncle
They
Bill
used to
Gates.
have. Did they put Bill Gates in court for this kind of stuff?
All right, so
No.
So this is the reason
No,
why
different.
the reason why this is going to continue and nothing's going to change this is because
Wait. Before you say that, I know a way to defeat EA.
All right, what's that?
If you want to sue them, you just go to that law firm in New York that's headed by the devil masquerading as Al Pacino. They'll win any case.
Wait, what?
That's our only hope.
Yeah, no.
Later.
I thought you were like the paragon of light. Why are you talking about associating with the devil?
Was that a woman reference or?
I told you.
But evil cannot beget evil.
Conflict makes strange bedfellows.
But-
Accent
It does.
Sestro.
Yeah, so there was actually a quote, I can't remember where it's from, but one of the head people at EA made this like comment about people are accepting and adopting this new way of business, referring to microtransactions and active accounts and all this stuff playing. And that's the way they think, because you know what they see? They don't listen to the people like us. They don't listen to forum posts or podcasts or people ranting on YouTube videos. And so all they see is the freaking dollar signs on the checks they're getting. And if those numbers are large, they're like, this is work. This works. This is what people like.
And see, that's the thing. Like, I've been talking to Landon about this a lot because he's the extreme pessimist on it. I'm a pessimist, but not to the degree he is. But I understand, because the thing is, so Diablo 3 kind of sucked, from what some people say, and it sold like 6 million copies, and a whole lot of people did not buy the game.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Activision doesn't know how many people did not buy the game
Exactly.
based on their numbers. They know they sold 6 million.
Well,
That doesn't mean
They could just compare that.
maybe it could have sold like 10 million.
Well, no.
Okay,
They
so-
can
No,
compare
no.
that
In
to
all
previous
fairness-
sales.
Okay.
sorry.
You go.
Oh, in all fairness, they sold 6 million, but part of the copies they sold were people that bought MOP in advance
Yeah.
for WoW to get the beta.
1.2 million of those.
Okay, so that's a big chunk right there.
And
The thing is,
They
while
seem that way.
they will not be able to see the missing
Yeah.
copies they didn't sell, but what they can do is compare the selling, the numbers of units sold compared to previous,
It's all
not installments like Diablo 2. I mean, like,
There's too
for,
big of
like
a
other
gap between
games, And until people, adopt this whole, like, I'm not going to support this business model, regardless of I actually wanting to play this game or not, I'm not going to buy this product, and it would require everybody doing that. It's just not going to happen realistically, so.
I have a question to ask.
I was going to use an analogy, but go ahead, Mr. Bell.
No, go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to use an analogy on what Dave was saying about, the 6 million units, but you're not actually saying who didn't buy the copy. I was going to use Immoral Technique. It was a song he said about the corporation, and it's saying that just because an album goes platinum doesn't mean people are going to respect the album. It just means that 1 million people were stupid enough to purchase the product. I just wanted to use that analogy. And,
Well, it doesn't matter.
But I gotta say, if
the
you
fact
sold
is,
a
it
million
still
copies,
sells.
1 million copies?
I mean, Soulja Boy did it.
Soulja Boy, no, you can't use that as an example
I
because
can't, why
that's
not?
your personal bias against Soulja Boy.
My personal bias?
Yeah, because why you're saying that he's not good enough to have sold that many copies. Apparently, there are 1 million people that didn't agree with that opinion, Brandon. And also, too, to say this about Soulja Boy, he had a dedicated fan base before he dropped that album. So, I'm not saying that I'm a fan of his music because personally I think he's whack. But I'm just saying, like, you because you don't follow something doesn't mean that they don't have a following.
So that means that Activision sold 6 million copies, and there were a whole lot of fans of DRM.
Yeah.
Well, they love Diablo. They were just dedicated.
Also,
And because you're a fan of something doesn't mean it's going to turn out the way you want it.
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Slash joke.
Yeah, but the problem with lost sales, that argument, is the lost sales argument always boils down to, we would have sold this but for piracy. So they don't look at it and say, we would have sold 8 million
It's
to
not
get
even
it better.
just
So,
They say, we would have sold 8 million
They
if not
don't
for
even like
piracy.
friends borrowing games. They consider anyone who didn't buy it to be
Alright,
negative.
look. I want to say this, and look. If I buy something, right?
Facts.
If I buy something, it is mine. Like, I bought this product from you. If I buy a copy of Final Fantasy VII, right? That is my copy. If I wanted to lend that to a friend of mine, if I wanted to sell it to somebody, it is mine to do with what I please.
You can wipe your ass with it.
Yeah, if I wanted to wipe my ass with
Wipe
it,
your
I
ass with Chrono Cross.
absolutely.
The
Or
season
I
bash it
actually
over
did.
No,
Didn't you?
no. I ended up bashing it over the case repeatedly with a crowbar, a monkey wrench, and a hammer.
On video.
I could have sworn you were a fan of Chrono Cross.
No,
Chrono Trigger.
You
We're having another
are.
argument.
You gotta be careful.
I've got a bomb to drop for you. Where was your copy made?
I don't know.
I just came across this when I was Googling. It's,
I have no idea.
Riley v. Kurtzinger. I'm not sure it's been decided or not, but apparently the first sale rule, where once the company sells it to you, you can sell it or whatever,
Yeah.
that only applies to games made in the U.S.
What?
Really?
So if you have a copy of a game made in China, I mean, I can't find the actual holding. It's been argued.
Right.
But if they have held it, that means that you don't have a right of first sale for something made in China.
Look,
So everything.
Which is ridiculous.
If I don't own it, I shouldn't have had to pay for it. You know, that's as simple as that. You once you hand over a product that I pay you money for, that is mine. You take that away from me, then you shouldn't get any money. Simple as that.
So like
you have
if
to go old school and ask for a bill of sale.
okay, so
That's what a receipt is, bro.
No, I didn't say receipt. I said bill of sale.
That's what a receipt
I said
is.
old school.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
it is-
so if Ford has your car built in China and then they sell it to you in the States, does that mean that they can just like jack your car?
well, if it's under copyright
So what does that
law,
mean?
it's a
Somebody
white
from
law.
Chinatown just basically comes up to me and says, I
Alright,
don't
Well, the facts and the
And here's-
cases that were at hand.
And here's
Okay, sorry.
oh, sorry. The big thing here is you got to weigh, and the thing is that this model is in place already, right? Mm-hmm. So if you look on XBLA or PSN, right, there are plenty of games you can get there. Now those are all digital; those don't exist tangibly, right?
Yeah.
But none of them exceed a price of say $20. They're 5, 10, 15, 20, right?
Yeah.
For something I can't resell, for something that I can't share to somebody without them just coming over to my house and playing it, right? That's fine. You know, that's not a lot of money out of my pocket. That's not a AAA title, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I were to buy it
And have it download.
and it cost, you know, like say $60 or something like that, like say, you know, Elysian Tale, Elysian Tale, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, I think that would actually be worth around $60 because that game's fantastic, right? But the fact is, if I did buy that at $60 and I did sell that back, I would probably still be in the sink about $20 anyways, right? So the $20 price tag for a digital copy that I cannot sell back seems legitimate. So if all these companies want to go to digital copies and they're, you know, I don't actually own this, can't sell it back, don't have the right blah, blah, blah.
It should
If
be
they need to
$60.
drop that price down to about $20 or more, and then I won't have a problem with
But
it.
EA is planning on
Each
jacking it
$20
up to
less.
70, right?
Well, no, that actually wasn't
Yeah.
true. Though.
Supposedly it wasn't.
Wait,
What's
you
up?
mean $20 or less, or $20 or
Yeah, $20
$20 or less.
I would say
more.
less than half. Maybe if you were buying it in the store for $60, I would see paying $30 or less for a game like that. I could respect that because there is no resale value for me.
Right.
And I understand totally what you're saying because there is no, once I purchase it, it's mine and mine forever. I can't give it to somebody. I can't loan it. If you're not coming here to deal with it, I shouldn't have to pay so much money.
Plus,
Right,
of course,
exactly.
it's cheaper to produce.
And
Absolutely.
you don't have to produce a disc, you don't have to ship it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Half that saves on to me. You're not gonna give me nothing but data.
In fairness, on the it's cheaper to produce portion of it, you have to look in the fact that if you're doing a digital copy, like, that still requires money on their part to make it available for you to download digitally. Is it cheaper overall? Possibly. Probably even. But they're still spending money to have the people sitting there coding the sites that you're digitally, downloading it from, so on and so forth. So it's not like they're completely cutting production costs there.
No! Talk about bandwidth.
Well, no, just in general. The people who program the site, the people who run the site, troubleshooting for the site, just uploading it, that's all people they're paying, that's all maintenance they're paying on things like that. Yes, it will be, more than likely it's cheaper overall, yes. But it's not like you're completely getting rid of production costs.
Absolutely, but you are eliminating a huge amount of middleman status.
Yeah.
Because, just like you said, you won't have to pay postage to ship it anywhere. You won't have to pay anybody to print the discs, which is usually an outside company, not a company that you own.
Well, the other thing you have to think about it is now on top of things like that, you get rid of all that other stuff, but now you have to deal with internet piracy more because it's all digital downloads. You're going to have to spend more money on protecting your games, or the companies are going to have to spend more money on protecting their games, coming up with keys and codes and any other possible way they can so that people can't just prolifically download and copy and send that to their friends and so on and so forth.
They're wasting
So
their
there's
money.
still more production. There's production costs still entailed in the digital copy. It's just
but once it exists, once that single copy is on the server and free for download, it is freely distributed at no additional cost.
Besides bandwidth.
Well,
besides bandwidth.
Maintenance.
You brought up my other concern too, though. This seems like the Apple-Amazon model is pushing us more toward more DRMing content, and I think we should be going farther away from it. So even if you took away all the other issues with it, I don't like something that's going to push more DRM.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll go ahead and throw Fox a bone here. He said, "What if your console?" Yes, a boner. So,
happy.
what if your console breaks? You can go buy a new game. Why not?
No, if your console breaks. Now, I've actually used this a lot.
The warranty, right?
No. When you buy something digitally, you have an account set up with that service, XBLA, PSA,
yeah, they
whatever.
all have one now. Even
They track what you've purchased. My PS3 had the yellow light of death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I had to reformat the hard drive. So, all my digital content gone, right? Jumped on PSN, and every single purchase I made was noted, and I could just easily go and write and download it again. Or install it right
Which
back.
brings up the point, though. Okay, so... Okay, hold on.
Goose
I
problem.
bought Turtles in Time Reshelled.
No!
Bombshell!
Get to the bunker!
Okay, no. It's not gonna be that.
We're not arguing about that.
I'm not arguing about that at all. Okay,
It's not a bad game.
But here's the point I want to bring up. So let's say that my Xbox breaks and I can no longer use it. I have to buy a new box.
I told you stop letting Ancestral play your games, bro.
Yeah. So Turtles in Time Reshelled is no longer on Xbox Live at all.
Yes.
I bought that, but I can't play it anymore.
Right.
I can't believe it. But
I didn't know
But the
that.
thing is, I can't get that back. So that's money I spent, and I can never play that game again.
Yeah.
Versus the NES, where I buy a cartridge. It's been 25 years since I had Mario 3. The cartridge still works, though, which is awesome. But that's the thing. I can still play those games that I bought with my mom's money. And I can still play all of that. And it doesn't matter if a server's up or the company's still in business or not. Like, if Nintendo went out of business in 1992, then I'll still have a copy of Mario 3 and it works pretty much forever.
And to kind of echo that, another side of it is...
Shop Saltabot! Don't break my point.
But the whole thing, like... I don't know. It's just... The used market is going to take a huge hit for this, right? And one of the best ways to be able to vote with your wallet is to buy used games, right? So you without giving direct money to the company that made it, you could still try the game without having to. And if you like it, that's fine. Like I was able to buy Devil May Cry used, right? And I didn't give Ninja Theory any money for it, and I was able to experience the game to find out if I actually really liked it or not. Now, in the off chances that, I actually did enjoy the game, right? So they missed out on that money. But that was more on the lines of how they freaking portrayed the game. The marketing for it was like, New Dante's and a complete douchebag, and there was I don't know if y'all saw the trailer, or it was actually in the game, actually playing the game. He's in there fighting, things flying all over the place, and a white wig just ends up flopping on his head, just a random chance. And he walks by a mirror, sees it, he's looking at himself, he kind of looks kind of old Dante-ish, with the white hair, and he looks at it, he's like, not a chance or not in a million years, and throws it off, and like, really? Are you really going to troll that hard?
They're a bunch of hipsters in their studio, though.
The problem Faye and I have this problem. We have 3 Xboxes, 3 Wiis, a PS2, 2 or 3 DSs, and 2 or 3 3DSs. So the problem with that is, with the digital stuff, we can't go from the living room to the bedroom to play. If you're going to play this game,
it's a
you have
big
to play
pain in the butt with a USB stick and stuff on.
And then
360.
at one point, I was going back and forth between the apartment and my parents, and so if I didn't have that with me, I couldn't play the games I bought.
Right, and actually, that's been an actual problem before in the past, because I've always built my own computers, because that's
how I roll.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Unless somebody was smart enough to convert.
Well, I mean, this is way back when, right? And when I bought, Windows XP or Windows 98 or whatever it was we were using at the time, when I bought that operating system, I wanted that operating system put on my computers, plural.
Yeah.
Can't do that. You got to buy an operating system for each computer. Even though I have bought what encompasses XP. Doesn't mean, I gotta buy it for every computer I own, even though I own this now. This is my XP. So, it's just, and you can't move that copy of XP to another computer. Well, I mean, you could if you called up and be like, I reformatted my computer, I need a new key. If you actually talk with a representative, you can get a new key in, but, it's the same thing with games these days. Like, this is 10, 15 years later, you buy a game, for a console, it's for that console, well, it's for your account, really, but I think, back in the day, let's say you had 2 SNESs or whatever, you just pop a cartridge out, run over to another console, throw it in, and you keep going right where you were. It's just that's just how the technology's changed, and it sucks.
Well, I mean, theoretically, but you're using, an example for, and this is an example I can actually support, is I used to be a big Command & Conquer fan.
Right.
And I originally played Command & Conquer on the PC. And eventually it came out on the PlayStation, and I got Command & Conquer on the PlayStation. I own the copies, but it's not like I could use one on the computer and, I couldn't use it on both. I get your example of, you own the game, but you can't use it on whatever thing you wanted.
Right.
But I mean, that's just kind of something that you're gonna have to deal with multiple consoles.
Yeah, but, and that's, that's acceptable. That's how it's been.
Yeah.
But with the introduction, the push for more DRM, the push for more, you don't actually own this product, you just kind of own the rights to play it. There's talk on Xbox, you don't own a single thing on Xbox Live Arcade, anything you buy, because what you paid money for was the points.
Okay, you kind of rented it. It's like you're renting.
Yeah, no, you paid money for the points. You spent the points on the game, right? You didn't spend the money on the game. You spent the money on the points, right? The game was just receive.
That's true. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, you know,
I also,
If that's true, it's a
I
scam.
feel like we're in a world more where there wasn't a good argument for 3 or 4 NESs back in the day.
yeah.
But now there is a compelling argument to have multiple game consoles just because they're not just game consoles. They're Hulu streamers or Netflix. So it is reasonable to have, say, a Wii for every TV in the house just because...
I wish Insultabot was here for that alone, because he's got like consoles littered all over his house. Like, all over the place.
Like Rafe has an Xbox in it.
Yeah.
When I bought a PS3, I wanted a Blu-ray player and something that streamed Netflix, and I just paid a little extra to get something that played games too. And that was a good thing, and that's how they're marketing them more and more.
Yeah.
So when you advocate having multiple consoles, how do you restrict the games to one console?
Yeah, well, the way they're doing it.
I respect that.
I had an idea. Now, you notice how you're saying that if you lose your copy on that network and there's probably no way you can get it back. What if there was some kind of rarity, like there's a game where you can actually buy it online, but then you also have the option of having like some limited edition physical copy, just in case you were to lose what you have on the network, you have that physical copy with you.
There are
like Mega Man 9
that.
or Mega Man 10.
Yeah.
What if, let's say Nintendo were saying, well, we don't want to sell this on the network anymore. We should offer like a physical copy. Now I know
They
it costs
lose money for that, though, bro.
I know, but I'm just saying if we're successful, like an experiment.
Well, first and foremost, these are
I mean,
companies that
Nintendo
make
prints
money.
its own money. That's the
First and
model.
foremost.
Nintendo prints its own money. Sony eats it because Sony loses money every time it produces a unit, and they have to make their money back through software. Nintendo, it costs less to produce a system. They can sell it and still make a profit, even when they lower the price.
Except in the case of the Wii U, where they're actually eating some. Because of the tablet only, though.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
Yeah.
That was just my 2 cents.
Freaking Nintendo!
That's like the past 4 episodes. You can find like 4 of those in the backlog.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've just about hit the hour mark. So, anyone want to send off with anything?
Yeah,
Actually-
I have one thing to say. Oh yeah.
You have to get it in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
God.
what?
Poor SK.
Ouija.
Ouija time.
Wedgie.
Oh.
Wedgie and Mario.
Oh, wait, Alan, I've got
Go
something to say to
easy.
you, buddy.
So, do we have anything to plug?
I do.
Oh,
Except for Shadow Fox's mom.
Wow.
I am greatly ashamed of you right now.
You just got
What did TJ
Internet
say?
high five.
Oh hey, we can actually do high fives now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get the half five.
We're high fiving in real life now.
Bite your knee again.
Yeah, you can't be in Fox's Majora's Mask LP anymore.
I'm out. I was just joshing.
Well, guys, I guess we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna continue to have fun at MagCast or MagCon.
Yeah, this will probably be up
Wait,
after.
hold up.
it's
Yeah.
I
over.
had something left.
Yeah.
You know how you tried to call me a paragon of light before? I never, ever called myself that. Merely a man with weaknesses who tries his best to follow the light. Get the difference.
I like how you're pointing to Alan, but we're on a microphone.
Yeah, they can see that.
You can see it.
You're my friend!
So we
SK! God bless
So should we
you.
discuss the
Bless your
unbearable
heart.
Yes. The unbearable.
Oh, shout out to my boy K-Jack over there. He never actually said his name on the podcast.
Oh yeah, he's
K-Jack, baby.
Yeah, a wild K-Jack appeared.
I didn't throw a Pokeball, I
So
just beat him
Brady,
with my
just say
magic
it's
jet.
plausible that I right now.
Ancestor, I choose you.
Oh man, no.
Quick, incest attack!
It's super effective. Oh.
I don't know if I see the animation for a super effective incest attack. I don't want to see that.
You know,
Well, the result is creating a family straight out of wrong turn.
I think we're all going to feel bad we find
Are we still on
tie
camera?
game
Are we
named
still
that.
recording?
I think everyone's going to regret it when they find out there's actually a hentai game named Ancestro. Which is probably a good chance.
No, at least you're going to see one placed on MagCon. RPG Maker Mag, thy name is Ancestro.
Alright, well, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah.
Alright.
Dre?
Do you think Ancestro uses Lavritra?
Yes.
Goodbye, everybody! Goodbye!
Hello, Wisconsin!
Tennessee!
We're in Tennessee, bro.
Doesn't matter.
We did pass the sign for dairy on the way down.
Moo.